for this impromptu after midnight vlog. It literally is after midnight, so I have like a warm cup of tea to keep me company and also to spill some tea. Alright, so you've probably heard by now about OnlyFans' news, how they decided to drop all adult content, all explicit material as a result of requests from their banking partners, and the internet exploded. I mean, OnlyFans is a site that is literally known for its more spicy content. What are they going to do? Like, that's what people expect. That's what they associate with the actual website. And I mean, within like 10 minutes of the announcement, because it was announced in Business Insider and like Bloomberg and stuff first, there were memes everywhere about how this announcement will shut down OnlyFans. Like, you get rid of the adult stuff for OnlyFans, you're getting rid of the site. Like, people aren't going to be on there anymore. And today, approximately 5 days after the announcement, they have realized that they messed up, like they majorly fluked it. Throwing in a mermaid pun. But they fluked it and are backpedaling so hard, and approximately 1 hour ago, they posted this on their Twitter. Oops! Okay, it was 1 hour ago when I saw it, but it was midnight. I was ready for bed. I had to do a little bit of basic makeup and stuff and make tea and put on clothing. So now it's 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, OnlyFans posted the initial statement on their Twitter. Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1st change. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators. Also, like, as just a little side note, one of the big things that people were really angry about was how OnlyFans actually first announced the changes. They didn't tell their creators, they went through PR reports and to like mainstream media and didn't let anybody know. And their first comment under their official post, which they posted like immediately afterwards, was an official communication to creators will be emailed shortly. So like, they're not going to win people over. People are still majorly angry about everything that's happened, but on their side, at least they did listen to that bit and have taken to advice that communication with your creators is important. Like, your creators make your site. Maybe tell them important details before you tell all the mainstream media with your PR reports. So like, at least they did that. At least they took that criticism to heart and actually are going to send an email to all creators. I'm just going to check if they actually have sent it yet, since that post was made 2 hours ago. Let's see if they've sent it. I mean, I have notices from OnlyFans, but they're just from like, you know, new messages and live streams. Okay, so at this moment, 2 hours after their Twitter announcement, they still haven't sent me the email. I don't know, obviously, if that has applied to everyone. It could be a slow process. There are literally like 2 million creators on OnlyFans, so who knows how long that notification will take. If it gets sent before this video gets edited and uploaded, which I'm going to do tonight before I go to bed, then I will include it as a screenshot. But to be honest, I'm not expecting the email until tomorrow morning. And again, it's after midnight here, so I'm not staying up just to wait for that email. But anyway, kudos to them for listening to that small bit of criticism and actually communicating with the creators and promising to send an email statement confirming that the changes are no longer taking place. I mean, it's a little too late. People have spent the last 5 days moving everything to a new platform, and not only that, but people have been hemorrhaging subscribers. Once creators heard that this was happening, they started planning everything to move all their content. They found brand new platforms, they set it up, they organized it, they removed content from OnlyFans, they put it onto the new platforms. Fansly right now is incredibly popular. I mean, personally, I have a few issues with it. One, their terms of service allows photos of children, as long as they're not unaccompanied minors. So with adults, they're allowed. They're also with Select Banking, which is a mainstream banking institution, which would imply that the MasterCard changes will affect them coming October 2. And there's just a bunch of other little things. So personally, not so much on the fancy train. I will probably still use it because it is like the main platform everyone is moving to, and popularity is actually like also convenience. If the majority of subscribers are on one platform and you're not on that platform, there is a decent chance they're not going to follow you onto a secondary or tertiary platform. So the ones with a lot of people tend to have both a lot of the creators and also a lot of the subscribers. So while it's not like my ideal platform, probably still moving there because, you know, profits and numbers, basically. But yeah, people have already started this. They have set up new accounts. They have gotten everything verified. They have made official announcements. Subscribers have freaked out. They canceled their auto renew. They started leaving the sites because they weren't expecting any more content. Many of them have followed their favorite creators onto the new sites. As I mentioned before, OnlyFans didn't have a discovery page. All subscribers or work or promotions was done by the models. We brought our fans onto OnlyFans. So upon hearing the news that the models had to leave, we took our fans from OnlyFans and moved them to a new platform. So they might be trying to save their skin, but it is still a little too late. I mean, they had plenty of time to try and save the majority of their cash cow creators earlier. The MasterCard changes that were being blamed for the October changes, they were announced in April or May, or like they were announced months ago. They could have easily started working then to try and save their adult content creators, but they didn't. They were happy to just kick them off the site. And I'm expecting that they did not expect the reaction. All right, so I have spent the majority of the last day and a half preparing all my research and notes for my videos on Exodus Cry and NCOSE, the National Center of Sexual Exploitation. Like literally, I have pages of notes about it. So I am still doing those videos. I actually wanted to do the NCOSE video tonight, but we'll end up probably doing it tomorrow. But anyway, yesterday, just by scrolling through Twitter during a little break, noticed that there were like a lot of comments on a basic MasterCard ad. You know how you see the ads on Twitter, but they don't often have a huge amount of like interaction? This one had tons of comments, and out of curiosity, I clicked on it because I was wondering if anyone was going to be talking about the OnlyFans thing or bringing it up. Everyone was, and I am not kidding. Everyone was, like almost every single comment was basically calling them out for censorship or for screwing over adult entertainers or for what they were doing with OnlyFans in general, and like whether or not they're going to start getting rid of certain fashion industries because they're mixing in of 2 different fabrics, or they're going to affect different food that doesn't have like kosher foods. Like there was a lot. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't screenshot from the ad, because I couldn't find the ad again when I was just scrolling for it. So I went onto MasterCard's own official Twitter and clicked on the very top post that they had yesterday afternoon. And well, to prove that it's not just selective screenshots, to prove that the majority of comments were indeed calling them out about the OnlyFans fiasco and taking the side of sex workers, which is the bit that took me by massive surprise. The majority of the public, and I mean the vast majority, not just like 60%, but like nearly everybody, was on the side of sex workers. And I mean, this is huge. One of the reasons why MasterCard initiated these changes to begin with is banks are typically kind of, you know, risk-averse entities, and publicity is important to them. Now, the organizations that I'm going to cover in other videos, NCOSE and Exodus Cry, these religious, anti-porn, evangelical, conservative type societies know this. They know this. The way they got the banks to drop Pornhub in December was after this huge long campaign where they were constantly calling out MasterCard and Visa for like, why are you supporting organizations that are affiliated with sex trafficking and child sexual abuse material, and basically shaming them with bad publicity to drop Pornhub, and it worked. And then they tried these same techniques onto OnlyFans, and it was those techniques that they put through that made MasterCard initiate these changes, basically to protect themselves from liability for anything that might be connected to illegal content. And so MasterCard initiated these changes because of those religious organizations to save face. And it didn't work because the majority of people kind of don't side with the really hyper-conservative values, anti-porn agendas of these hyper-religious organizations. And so they were on the side of sex workers and viewed it as it was, as a type of censorship and a control and an overreach of financial institutions, basically dictating what type of content is allowed online and what people can spend their money on online. So they did this whole thing to try and save face while religious groups were basically attacking them for, you know, supporting adult content and illegal content and like facilitating online sex work, because, you know, all sex work is apparently sex trafficking in their eyes. So they initiate these changes, sent them onto OnlyFans. OnlyFans decided they were far too difficult and expensive to actually implement, so they kick off all adult workers, and it backfired on both of them. MasterCard is swept and inundated with basically negative publicity, the same publicity that they were seeking to avoid. And OnlyFans, of course, realized they're totally screwed. Earlier today, they posted another story about how they had to drop some sort of fundraising investment thing because they were hemorrhaging users. They had like 20 million users and at least 2 million creators, and they were hemorrhaging these users and basically their statistics after having made that announcement. So they had to cancel a fundraising campaign that they had because they no longer had the numbers and the finances to support it. So that was earlier today. And then tonight, you know, near midnight my time, they finally announced that they are backtracking completely. They are no longer going to put in the changes that MasterCard required that started October 1st, and they are no longer kicking off their spicy adult content creators. I am not joking. I literally laughed out loud. I did this weird kind of like squeal laugh and then had to look down the hallway hoping I didn't wake up my housemate. I laughed and just cracked up hysterically because it just seems so hilarious to me that all this effort was put in just to kind of like save face and save their investment and go mainstream, and it backfired so spectacularly because we have reached the stage in society where the moral panic does not grip people as hard as it used to in the past. I mean, what was it, moral majorities of like the 60s and 80s when they were really attacking like pornography and stuff, it worked back then. And these days, people are a lot more concerned about the bank's financial overreach and potential censorship. And of course, a huge amount of completely, to be honest, unexpected social and public support towards sex work is work. And honestly, I think this is amazing. Like, it's incredible. One of the things that was happening with the banks is MasterCard announced it and they made it official. And other sources were saying that, you know, Visa and even like American Express and other banking institutions would probably follow suit, but they hadn't yet because they wanted to see like how it would play out with MasterCard. And it played out spectacularly, in my opinion, but probably not in the way that they expected. And this is probably going to be huge for like online sex work, consensual, legal sex work, because we just have this massive case where society supported the adult content creators, something that hasn't really ever happened before. I'm not joking, I am feeling blessed and loved and supported and happy, and I still think the whole thing is just hilarious, because like, oh my god, right now, okay, NCOSE, the National Centre of Sexual Exploitation, they claimed credit publicly. They publicly claimed credit for OnlyFans removing pornography on their posts within like a day or two. And Representative Wagner also was starting to claim credit for it. They were celebrating how OnlyFans was removing their adult content creators because OnlyFans was one of the members of their Dirty Dozen. This is all stuff I'm going to include in my NCOSE Spill the Tea expose type thing. So I really hope you were subscribed to see my mini series on all of this. But they were already taking credit for it. They were already celebrating. It was already seen as like a highlight of achievement that they had succeeded in removing the evils of pornography, because these are the groups that call pornography to being like a massive social harm, a public health crisis. And today, OnlyFans completely reversed their decision. They backpedaled on it. It's probably not enough to save OnlyFans, but symbolically, like, this is a huge moment. This is a huge thing. MasterCard also wanted nothing to do with it. Like, they threw OnlyFans under the bus when other like journalists and news sources were asking them about it. They said that had absolutely nothing to do with it, which, you know, isn't technically true. Like, if you're holding a gun to someone's head and telling them while you're mugging them to give them all your money, and then you give them all your money and they're like, well, they didn't have to give me all their money, it was their choice. I mean, yeah, technically it was their choice, but you're like still holding a gun to their head. Like, how much choice is really involved? But yeah, MasterCard literally just threw OnlyFans under the bus. They tried to like completely sever all ties with it. They still had incredibly terrible publicity because, you know, internet kind of facilitates looking into things. And now OnlyFans is backtracking and oh my god, NCOSE, National Centre of Sexual Exploitation, they must be steaming. Exodus cries, I am looking forward to the fallout in the morning. But yeah, that's the video today. 2 hours ago, OnlyFans made their initial statement that they are bringing back the porn. They realized that they screwed up big time, that they are losing members, they are losing content creators as well as subscribers. Their value is plummeting, and they are hoping to try and save a little bit of that and save a little bit of face by reversing their decision. But I mean, like, you just screwed over a huge chunk of your content creators who already immediately started making plans to move on, because that's what this industry kind of does. So like, good luck with that, guys. Good luck. I mean, personally, I'm still going to keep my Safe for Work OnlyFans. I set this one up months ago. It's more for like vlogging and Safe for Work stuff, so I will keep that like I always intended. But also, it's kind of just so I can like stay in the know and see just how far things are gonna fall. I'm curious. I'm a little bit petty that way. But yeah. So, OnlyFans creators who felt like they were being booted off, we're not anymore, because they finally admitted they cannot do it without us, and they are desperately, desperately hoping we're going to stay. But yeah, got my warm honey tea. That's the OnlyFans, and I guess XBiz tea for now. Anyway, it is, again, like probably close to 1 AM now. I'm gonna upload this and go to bed. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have an incredibly good night. I hope this made you laugh and smile too. It definitely made me smile and laugh. I am gonna have very sweet dreams, and I sincerely hope that you do too. Thank you. Bye.